Right, people. So I thought I would check out Cowboy Bebop, right? Now, see, the weird thing was because, it's based on this beloved anime. And I hadn't seen the anime, but just before the live action hit, they did release season 1 of the anime. But I was just like, you know what? No, I'm just gonna watch the new thing, right? I don't want to get bogged down in what came before. And I think that was probably a very good idea because, boy, there's some angry people out there. It really is. It is a little bit crazy. You know what I mean? It is a little bit crazy, but fuck, what can you do? What can you do? But yeah, I gotta say, I enjoyed it. Right? I did enjoy it. It was an odd one because there was a point and I thought, ugh, I do not like this. But yeah, that all changed. It all did. Yeah, it all changed, which I thought was a bit of a relief. You know what I mean? So, right, it is based on a 1998 anime cartoon series created by Hijimi Yatat. It ran 2 seasons, 98 to 99, but I think season 1 was like 26 episodes. So, it technically probably was, when you look at it, it's a long one because this live action version is 10 episodes. You know what I mean? So when you break it down like that, although it does seem that they did compress, right? They followed the same beat a lot of the time, but they jettisoned some of that first season. It was written by Christopher Yost. Good to see old Yost. He's still doing his thing. Started out in comics and everything like that. And yeah, it was. I remember reading like it was always his dream. He wanted to be a screenwriter and everything. And it's nice to see him doing it, man. They used the original theme music by Yoko Kanno and the original opening theme, Seatbelts by Tank. Right. Executive producers on the piece is Marty Adelson, Andre Nemec, Jeff Pinkner, Josh Applebaum, Scott Rosenberg, Becky Clements, Yost, Yasui Mikawawa, Misawuki Uzaki, Shinazaki, Tim Cunningham, Tetsu Fujimori, Michael Cattleman, and Matthew Weinberg. Right. Yeah, as I said, look, it's 10 episodes. Right. Our cast, we have John Chu as Spike Spiegel, aka Fearless. We have got Mustafa Shakir as Jet Black, Spike's partner, a former detective. Have Faye Valentine, who's played by Danielle Pineda. She is also a bounty hunter and a con artist, but there's a little bit more to her. All right, we've got Julia, Spike's love, let's say. She's played by Alina Satine. Vicious, Spike's former brother, right? Comrade in the Red Dragon crime syndicate, and now Nemesis, who's played by Alex Hazel. Yeah, there's Ion the dog. Oh dear, oh dear. Radical Ed, who is played by Eden Perkins. And we get a drop in at the very end, which was an interesting one, because I wondered. Anna, who runs the jazz club, right, is played by Tamara Tooney. We got Gren, who works with Anna, played by Mason Alexander Park. Who else do we have? All right, so we got this show, right, called Big Shot, and the hosts Punch and Judy are played by Ira Munn and Lucy Curry. Chalmers, who was Jet's former partner in the Intersolar System Police, is played by Jeff Stutz. Mayo is played by Rachel House. She is a crime leader of the syndicate. Right, we then have Eunuch. Who the fuck played Eunuch? I do not know. That's a bit of a shame, because yeah, he kind of he was pretty good. Yeah, don't know. Molly Moriarty played Kimmy, Jet's daughter, right? But yeah, I guess that's the main people. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's our main cast. Now, the gist of the show is this: the space western story follows Spike Spiegel and his ragtag crew of bounty hunters or cowboys as they try to capture the galaxy's worst criminals and survive the unexpected dangers they encounter throughout space, sometimes saving the world in the process, but always leaving millions in damage. And it's set in the year 2071. So not that far in the future. But remember, the original show was created in 98. And, you know what I mean? You see them things that were set and they figured, oh, that's a long time away. But then you get to now and you you watch them and you're like, yeah, that's not that far. It's not that far away, man. But, right, so the crazy thing with this is, when I started to watch it, I didn't know, right? I was a bit like, actually, it was set in the year 2171, my bad. But yeah, well, you know, we get this crazy casino heist sequence, right? Which shows this playful, humorous side of things of the show. But yeah, I wasn't sure. Right? I thought effects-wise, it's pretty good, right? I like the way, you know, they show the interstellar travel, right, through the loops and everything like that. You know what I mean? A lot of the effects with the guns and the shots and all of this, you know, the gravity. It was fun. You know, some slick fights and all of that. But I don't know, man. It was about Chew, right? He's Spike Spiegel, because it was played very understated, very low key. But then in moments where you kind of figured there would be emotion, there just wasn't really emotion. You know what I mean? And that was a bit, I just wasn't sure. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure. But, you know, I kept with it, right? I figured, let me just keep with it and see what's happening here. And there was some interesting stuff, right, going around. And I liked I think one of the big things, I liked the way the first episode ended, right? It They didn't do the hero save the day all the time. It wasn't that. So I was like, all right, let's see where this goes. You know what I mean? So yeah, I kept going with it. And like again, it was this spike and noodles all the time, and it was just stuff, right? And I think you get that thing where someone, they could easily tell the truth, but they don't. But you don't really see a valid reason for not. You know what I mean? And that was a bit like, but then the jazz, I love jazz, right? So the way they infuse that into the show, and we get Jet talking about jazz and all of that, and I was like, all right, no, I'm still digging it. But then as the story unravels, right, you find out more about Julia and the elders, the syndicate, Vicious, all of that. And you're like, okay, this is intriguing. I am intrigued. I am definitely intrigued. So I was still with it. Right, I was still with it. And then I think it was like the third episode, like you had Jet trying to attain Kimmy's birthday, and that was a little amusing, the way they did it. That was a little amusing. So I'm more with it, but it gets crazier, especially with the dog, right? With the dog and all of that, and you're like, oh, what? This is weird, right? This is weird. But then I think it's the fourth episode, because the fourth episode kind of focused a little bit more on Faye. And I think really this, like the emotional side, kind of connected here. All right, because the way you see this con artist, the manipulation, but then the teamwork and everything like that. And then just the end, right? Just the end. God, I might be a sucker, but it just like, man, it'd be like, oh man, yeah, sucks not knowing where you come from, right? Fuck. All right, fuck it, I'm down. I'm in. And yeah, it was from that point that I kind of was like, all right, yeah, no, I'm feeling this, right? I'm feeling it. And especially because then we're getting this real fucking craziness, like this intrigues and everything like that, backstabbing, plot twisting, all of that, where you're like, oh, okay, all right. We do get a kind of a it was a bit of a retro episode with Jet and his old partner kind of teaming up to do it, which when you watch those, like they did it in Castle, they did it in like the X-Files, and just a lot of shows where they set, Star Trek did it a lot, where they send them to the past, you know what I mean, and they're cowboys or detectives or something. Like it did feel a bit like that. And I will say, you're just like, yo, Jet's meant to be a detective and he can't see the obvious? Come on, man. What the fuck, right? What the fuck? This is insane. Yeah, it's crazy. But, it was still like, all right, it's fine. I can I can get with it, right? It's still, there was still enough there for it not to suck, right? Still enough there. But yeah, from there, you were just kind of onto the races. There was this weird mind thing, which was an interesting situation, right? Which didn't quite play out how you might have perceived it to, so that was fun. But yeah, we're also slowly getting these seeds planted on where this could be going, right? How this could turn out, right? Which are just like, ooh, okay, all right, interesting. Now, I think what then really kind of gets it, like episode 8, where it really just goes a little crazy, and you're like, oh, I liked it because you kind of figure something's gonna happen, but the way it all pans out, you're like, yo, I didn't see that happening. You know what I mean? Now, episode 9 is a flashback episode, which, to be honest with you, right, I was a bit irritated at, because episode 8 ends at this point where you're like, fuck, okay, well, everyone's in the wrong place for this to now work. What the fuck? Where's it gonna go? Right? Where's it gonna go? And then episode 9 is flashback. Now, what we learn is interesting, right? And it shows us something about a lot of the people. So technically, I'm not mad at having that story, but it was just irritating that we disrupted our flow. You know what I mean? It was just one, like, yeah, you can't really say it's a filler episode. You know what I mean? Because we learn a lot, right? It lays the foundation for a lot of stuff that we then see culminate in the last episode. But yeah, I'm just like, maybe we could have had that earlier. You know what I mean? And then episode 10, ooh, a lot of chickens come home to roost. You do think, Jet, chill, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, but you have to then think of what has happened, right? What you motherfuckers have been through. So there is that, but you then see this interesting, like, twist that, yeah, didn't think was gonna happen, ain't gonna lie, but it did remind me of Green Wing, where each season ended the kind of same way. You know what I mean? And this one, like, it seems to end where it technically kind of starts, right? When, like, not literally where it starts in the casino, but where it kind of metaphorically starts on Spike Fearless's new journey. All right, so I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. And right, so the thing was, I did dip into the first episode of the anime, right? Because I was like, okay, how much of this is similar to that? And like the opening credits, boom, seemed carbon copy, right? Obviously, they updated it a little, with live action, but yeah, it's kind of the same, which is fun. The theme music, all the same. Space travel through the rings. And then you look at the characters and you're like, okay, so they kind of did it. I prefer this Fae, right? Because that's the thing. Anime, they put people in these skimpy, weird costumes that it's just weird, right? Make the women look mad young, then put them in barely nothing. And it's just like, hey, I don't know, man, right? It just feels like some of this shit's made for pedos. So I preferred the costume that Faye's wearing in this updated tape. I thought Jet Black, yeah, I like the fact they added a little diversity, because let's be honest, there's not always diversity in anime. You know what I mean? Come on now. right? You do get a sense that not everyone is welcome. But yeah, so I enjoyed that. But there was another member of the group, and I'm like, huh, I wonder when they're going to introduce this character. And that character does appear. And I thought, oh, it's interesting how they brought that character in. And you do kind of think, oh, what does this mean going forward? Right? We are definitely end in a place where everything is just insane. Right? You think like, where does the story go from here? Where does it go from here? And so I have seen, right, people criticizing this and saying they hate it and all of that. Now, again, I didn't watch the original. You know, I just dipped in to just kind of get a view of, you know, how well did it kind of compare? I thought it compared very well. I saw one person say that the effects look like a bargain bucket Doctor Who. I'm like, yo, this looked way better than Doctor Who. I don't know what the fuck these people are talking about. It's insane. Look, I get it. They didn't follow beat for beat the story from the anime, but do you really want that? You know, it's a different media, right? I get changes that happen from a book to a TV show to a film, right? Sometimes there are things that they change where you're just like, huh, right? Is like when I was watching The Last Kingdom, I really enjoyed the books, Bernard Cornwell, and the monk that helps Uthred as a kid and all of that. Bareka, something like that, right? And in the book, he's described hunchback, just mad, ugly, and all of this. But in the TV series, they didn't make him like that. I'm like, why? Why not? Right? Like, I don't understand. Like, why change that aspect of it? You know, and sometimes it's things like that, and you're like, but you know, other change, you'd be like, I get that change, right? That makes sense. That makes sense. And for me, yeah, I thought it was handled very well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And as is, when you kind of get that whole Faye thing, that's when the series really picks up for me. That's when I feel it really kind of coalesces and I'm digging it a lot more. Effects wise, it was very good. You know, as I said, the space travel, like the crazy fights, the explosions, all of that handled real well. I thought it was very done well, I thought it was done very well, right? I thought it was done well. And as I said, look, the only thing for me was some of the emotional aspects from Chew, but in the flashbacks, killed it, right? In the flashbacks, it was really good. So I guess what they're saying now, he's kind of tried to turn himself off, which then it makes more sense, right? Makes more sense, people. Makes more sense. And the other thing I liked about this, it's not like they made it humorous. They added a goofy side to it, but there wasn't so much of that just irritating over the topness that you get in anime. Right? When people eat and it's just like blah 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 blah, and you're like, what the fuck? It's like, does everyone have to eat like that? You know what I mean? And just being real stupid and just ugh. And again, when people just look way too young and it just looks a little pedo-ish, right? So yeah, I enjoyed this. Now, let me get it. There is some animes that I have enjoyed. There was one about four kings that, like, these four kids that are kings and they turned into dragons. And for the life of me, I have no clue what that show was called. It used to be on Channel 4 in the UK, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, the way things aired, the times always change and everything. But yeah, there's some that I've really enjoyed, but some of it is just weird and creepy. And this didn't irritate me, right? And as it went on, I got more into it. And I think that's a testament to it. So yeah, I'm down for it, man. I'm down for season 2. So I would say, look, if you like this sort of thing, if you like your anime, I feel you like this. I think if you liked I kind of think if you like stuff like Star Trek Discovery and you know stuff like that, I think you would dig this. You know? It's fun. And it's got some martial arts. I think as well, because I didn't even know what the fuck it was, right? I didn't know it was kind of cowboy bounty hunters in space. So that was fun. I did see someone be like, it was revolutionary. It was such a crazy idea. I'm like, no, it wasn't. If you read comics and shit like that, it wasn't really a crazy new idea. But, you know, I get it. Look, it's all good to love something. You know what I mean? And you feel a bit real protected, but chill, motherfuckers. Chill. Because, hey, look, you might like the anime more than this, which is fine. But to say this looks shitty, come on now. I feel we're all lying when it comes to that. So yeah, it is a fun. If you like some martial arts, if you like space adventures, which are kind of grounded, right? Because as they go to different worlds, they're kind of set in different like time zones. It kind of feels like some worlds feel like they're 60s based, some a bit more modern, some a bit more Western, which I feel is interesting, you know? So it mixes it up and it keeps you intrigued. So people, Cowboy Bebop, it's on Netflix, the live action, and season 1 of the anime, if you want to dip into that too. So yeah, enjoy.